Wednesday morning here on the link. You are rolling with us if you are hopefully slowly traveling down Marine Corps Drive on a gorgeous Wednesday morning, or if you are making your way to a 9 o'clock class over at UOG. FYI, you're a little bit late, so if you're on back road, do try and get there in a safe environment. Speaking of Triton U, that is the subject of our next interview, because 2021 is a monumental year for the university. Finally, a return to a semi-normal instructional format. It is also the University of Guam's 70th anniversary, so who better to bring in to the KOM News Zoom room and talk about this achievement, what it means, and what we mean going forward than the president, the 11th president of the University of Guam, Dr. Thomas Krise. Dr. Krise, always a pleasure. Welcome to the show.
Up day, Jason. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Let's first talk. I tried to contextualize it like a little bit, but what does it mean for the UOG community and for you and your fellow administrators and faculty, and probably most importantly the student body, to finally be able to return and say, I can experience college in what should be like a somewhat normal fashion?
Mm-hmm. No, it's a big deal for us to be able to do it. And we've got about half of our classes are either fully face-to-face or hybrid, which is occasionally online, occasionally face-to-face. So it makes such a difference just to see other people and to have some liveliness back on campus. So that's really important. And then all of our offices are staffed now, so it feels a little bit more normal, and we're slowly coming back.
Mm-hmm. The one thing as an alumni, and I always try and emphasize this, is the one thing that is impressed upon me in so many positive ways that all of your team there at UOG really tried to keep spirits high and really motivate students and saying, we're absolutely committed. We're all the way into making sure that you guys get the quality education that you're paying for and that you signed up for and everything like that. So what were some of the challenges of being able to maintain that motivation and that esprit de corps, if you will, not knowing what the world was going to be like one day to the next?
Yeah, so I have a lot of credit goes to the Student Government Association that's been trying to keep up spirits and to keep our kind of regular routines going of various kinds of events, awards, ceremonies, meetings, and so on. So they've done a really good job of keeping that spirit alive. Another group that's really important is our residential students who've been in residence all the way through the pandemic. And so they've really put up with a lot of, hassles in terms of tremendous job. And I say to them that they've been kind of keeping the campus flame burning all through this. So it's been really, and great staff helping to keep their spirits up too.
Well, you provided the environment and the infrastructure and the instruction. Now, kids, time to go to work. It's time to go earn those degrees. It's time to take your part in the ongoing symphony, if you will, of productive society and everything like that. And you are the future big thinkers of tomorrow and everything like that. So UOG continues that tradition of enabling and preparing young minds to continue to lead. It's not just survive this thing, but to really take us forward.
Mm-hmm. And to keep on track too. So, a lot of people have sort of been tired of all are sort of tired by the Zooming and the online experience that we've all been having to go through. It's been great that we've been able to do it, but it's a bit trying. But we've really been encouraging people to stay on track for their degree programs, to keep registered and so on. Now it's a great time to be registered because we still have some of the Rescue Act money to distribute, so this semester and next semester, so it's important to stay on track and take advantage of that. So we'll still be distributing funds from the Rescue Act from the federal government, so that's an extra incentive to stay on track for their degree program.
Outstanding. Okay, so Dr. Krise, I want to talk about moving forward now that we have now eclipsed 70 years of the university being an institution. And of course, this year earlier, back in March, we celebrated, the 53rd Charter Day of UOG. But, as long as I've been able to interview you, and I've had a great pleasure of doing so, you've always been not only a teacher of language, but also a student of history. So, when you came to this post, and you've been here now and leading for a few years, what have you been able to ascertain about the history and the tradition and the legacy thus far of the University of Guam?
I think that one of the most important things about it that really makes it stand out is how much people really care about it. This community really cares about the university. It matters in a way that it's hard to, certainly in my experience, no other university that I've been associated with has been so much embraced by its community. So So it really matters. So I think our 70th anniversary matters more to the community of Guam, the community of all of Micronesia, than many other institutions. And a lot has happened. I mean, this place has really come from modest beginnings in Quonset huts and to being a really remarkable institution with great faculty, great staff, great students, great alumni. Thanks for being one.
My pleasure. Is that is that little factoid about the Quonset hut one of the first things that that when you first took your job here at Triton U, your administrators and people that have been there and they've really cut their teeth and made that their career. Is that one of the first things they told you? Because they're like, wow, we've got this beautiful business school and we've got like an incredible science building and everything like that, but it wasn't always like that. And this place literally was, classrooms were in thatched huts.
Yeah. No, really, yeah. It's really modest beginnings, really trying to staff our Department of Education, right? That was really is meant to be a teacher's institution. So education's right at the center of our existence, and that whole connection to serving the community, helping people into careers that will help Guam and all of Micronesia is what we're all about. So it's a great story, and this institution has come a long way. And I think a lot of people can appreciate the last about 20 years. It's really been a dramatic shift. We're doing a lot of very high-end, very important research. We're doing a lot with environmental sustainability, circular economy kinds of things, helping us figure out how to diversify our economy. I mean, there's a lot going on. There's a lot to do with Chamorro language revitalization, Chamorro studies, Micronesian area studies. There's a lot going on at this institution that it's hard to encapsulate. So what we're hoping is the 70th anniversary will give us this opportunity to really highlight all of this great work that's been going on, the great achievements of UOG and with its communities. Right, the communities are what keep the university going. So.
Yeah, I think the highest praise I can give UOG is, it's never the same school or the same institution. You stay away from there for like 2 years and you go back and it's like, oh wow, now they've got an engineering school, and the Marine Lab is still world class. The ROTC unit is globally respected, for their discipline, for their dominance, for the fact that we've got more cadets that have air assault badges and ranger tabs even before they graduate from college, is because the cadets are that committed when they receive their commissions to be productive officers. But as not just as a figurehead now, but kind of like as the person with the grand vision, I'm sure you would agree that the key component of progress is momentum. So how do we continue to improve upon, to expand, and to make more opportunities available for young minds?
So, I mentioned the community support for the institution. So none of this was possible without the support from the government of Guam, from the legislature, from the governor's office. So there's, that investment in the institutions, what's made this all possible. And so now the institution's able to bring in a lot more resources thanks to that investment. And we're able to do a lot of very high-end research that really matters to people. So, preserving our archaeological heritage, caring for our environment, trying to mitigate the impact of construction of all kinds. All those kinds of things are really important, and we're able to do this, and we're able to hire people and provide jobs and provide tax revenue because of the support of the community. So it really does matter. So this coming year will give us this opportunity to highlight, and we intend to have kind of like a monthly focus to try to capture all of this variety. So you mentioned our great ROTC, you mentioned our Marine Lab, we've got the Micronesian Area Research Center, we have the cancer research and the cancer all the cancer research work that's going on, CEDARS, we've got, all these the extension and outreach, we've got the agriculture, the aquaculture.
If we just talked about all the degree programs just at the School of Education alone, this interview would go on for 2 hours.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazingly complex and rich and full of variety. So this year, we're really looking forward to this coming year. We hope we get to have more events in person, but today we're celebrating with a virtual kickoff this afternoon. So we're excited about that.
I was going to say, let's talk about that for a sec, Dr. Krise, because one thing that every UOG student, alumni, prospective student knows about UOG is that if there's one thing the Tritons do is we know how to party. I mean, we buckle down and hit the books, and we finish what we start. We complete those degrees. We walk in there as freshmen. We exit as seniors. Degree carrying members of society. But it's also a school that knows how to celebrate achievement and everything like that. So at 3:30 today, there's a virtual kickoff ceremony. This is the Platinum Jubilee. So how will we be able, as a community, to look back, to celebrate, and to congratulate everything we've been able to do?
Yeah, so we'll be, we have a big committee, lots of people involved in this project. So we have our honorary co-chairpersons, and so that's two of our very successful alumni, and that's Anne-Marie Munya, the president and general manager of AM Insurance, and Christine Boleto, the chief financial officer of Docomo Pacific. So they're the honorary co-chairs for this, and then we've got all kinds of people in all these different parts of the university and among the alumni to celebrate that. So that'll be kicking off today, the virtual ceremony, and you can just check the Facebook page for UOG's Facebook page for the link to that. And then we've got this great UOG mural that's going up on the side of the field house by Austin Domingo. And so it's not quite finished yet, thanks to all the rain we've had. It's been a little hard to finish the project, but it's very nearly done. It really is a head turner.
Yet another reason, everybody, that you have to go to the field house to go get your shot. If you want to get vaccinated, you can see that beautiful mural.
Yeah, that's another great thing. So we've been so happy to be so embedded with the National Guard and the DPHSS to help try to cope with this, the pandemic all the way through our School of Health, our Global Learning and Engagement team, our athletics office. All those people have been helpful, and it's been so nice for us to be able to host this big vaccine center in the field house all this time. So that's been great too. So you get to see it, get to see the mural going in to get booster shots or all that.
And I think that kind of is testament to the fact, as you touched on earlier, Doc, is the fact that UOG is a community integrated institution, and it's not this school that's tucked away in the corner of Manila where it's very elitist and it's all stuffy, and we sit around swilling sherry and reciting the Canterbury Tales and everything like that. Every UOG student knows that they have to give back, and it's inherent on each and every one of us to pass along the knowledge that was passed to us and to help the community. And when I remember when they said we need a vaccination clinic, they said UOG was like, okay, tell us where, tell us when. We've got facilities, we've got people that are willing to help. I mean, they know they're heading potentially into harm's way, but they're like, give me a time, give me a place.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's not surprising at all, but it's still wildly impressive.
Right. And I think that's really in our DNA. So starting as, a teacher training institution in 1952, all the way through to next year also is our 50th anniversary of being a land grant institution. And the whole land grant idea is about the community, about applied research, about converting what we do in the university into useful applications in the community. So the agricultural extension, all the extension service that we do, the nutrition, all that kind of stuff is part of that. So that's another big anniversary. The next year is also the 40th anniversary of the UOG Endowment Foundation. That's another way that the community supports the mission of the university, helps students to get in and get through and to have successful careers. So it's a big anniversary year on multiple levels.
So we got a lot of parties coming up.
Yeah. We've got plans. We've got plans all the way through. So it should be great. We're really excited about the Charter Day this coming year, which will be March 31st this year. So we hope we get by. I mean, we've got this really high vaccination rate here where we hope we can crest this and sort of join the decline in the cases of COVID. But we're really hoping to have a lot of in-person activity and parties all the way through the celebratory year. So.
Absolutely. Let me just ask you, Dr. Krise, and not necessarily from the standpoint of of the president of the university, but just as Tom Krise, if I may, and everything what has being able to be here in this community and see things with your own eyes and be part of that subset of the island family and everything like that. What has it meant to you, and how were you initially embraced when they said you first came to the island and everything like that, and even before you started the job?
Well, I stress the idea of how important this is, how much this institution matters, so that it really struck me even from the interview stage. I mean, it was a newsworthy search process, and there was a lot of conversation about it. And so being the first completely outside Guam person in the job is, it's tricky that way, but I've been very, very well received, I think, and the love of the institution is just so obvious, and that's made all the difference through this. And that, the pandemic has really just highlighted that role. I mean, the university has done what it was founded to do, which is to help the community, and so in all these different ways. And I've emphasized that events like today's Jubilee launch and the celebrations coming up, and the ceremonies, and continuing this kind of rhythm of our social lives and of our sense of accomplishment. This matters. So I think what we're doing, keeping students on their programs, celebrating their achievements, having the kinds of social interactions that we've been able to have during the pandemic has been important for our collective morale, right? So we feel better because we're able to continue to help our community, to continue our students, efforts to finish degrees and to move into meaningful careers, and as much as possible to keep our best and brightest in Guam. That's another great aspect of having a robust University of Guam and Guam community colleges. We keep people here, right? People don't feel like they have to go off island. They can stay here, and we've been successful at bringing people who've gone abroad, the diaspora. We've brought a number of people back, but we've been celebrating some of our returnees, because we've been able to bring them back for faculty and staff positions, or by other ways that we've been helping, through aquaculture, agriculture, the business community, and so on.
Absolutely. And again, I'd like to emphasize a point. I mean, you spend a couple months and maybe even a couple years away from UOG, you go back and it's a completely different place, and that in very, very positive ways. So, Doc, I know you got a 3:30 virtual kickoff to get ready for, so I'd like to end with this maybe one final question, and you kind of touched on it like a little bit, but in your estimation, what is a UOG Triton? How should they be perceived by the rest of the world, and what is the responsibility inherent to each one of them?
Yeah, I think maybe the expression island wisdom is a good way to describe that. So there is no institution in the world that is like UOG, or with the kind of responsibility that UOG has to Guam and the whole community of Micronesia. I point out to people that UOG is the only public university in the U.S. that is directed by its sponsoring government to serve people beyond the jurisdiction of that government. So we serve all the people of Micronesia. Most of our residential students are from our neighboring islands, and that sort of wider vision for Guam as the hub and the metropolis of this enormous area of Micronesia, I think, is really important. And so we have ways of living. We have this ancient Chamorro culture. We have ideas like Anathamawalek and Chinchuli that are unique to this culture, and we have ways of solving problems and thinking about how we interact with each other that are unique, and we can provide help to the world because of the way we're dealing with problems in our own environment. So I think UOG helps to raise that island wisdom to the wider world, and to take our place in the world as important, significant cultures in this region of the world. So I think island wisdom would be the thing that really sets us apart, and what we're really trying to highlight in this coming 70th anniversary year.
Absolutely agree, Dr. Krise. Thank you so much for that. So Dr. Thomas Krise, everybody, the 11th president of the University of Guam, not from here originally, but he's about as Guamanian as you're going to find, because he loves red rice, loves Kelaguen, and he's made this his home. And Doc, we're lucky to have you.
Thank you, Jason.
All right, so congratulations to UOG on the Platinum Jubilee. Remember, the virtual kickoff ceremony starts at 3:30 today. You can go to our Facebook stream right now. We're going to put the link in there. So if you would like to register, take part and participate in this wonderful celebration, you're more than welcome to. So Dr. Krise, have a wonderful day. Congratulations once more.
Thank you, Jason.
Get yourself all caught up